Hello and welcome to a Xero guide on basically increasing the efficiency of actually navigating the system. So it's one of those things that if you're new to Xero or you've used it before, there's always a way to do something a bit more quickly, a bit more efficiently, and just to save you time in general. So I'm just going to share my screen and share with you some of my favorite items. So the first one I will say to improve efficiency is if you do have dual monitors, so just buy a cheap monitor as backup if you don't have one already, and hook them up to the same PC, you get two screens, which makes things so much easier. The other option, of course, is you can always split your screen. But of course, this does depend on the size of your monitor. And basically, if you have a decent sized monitor, this is super effective. I mean, I could see quite happily what's going on both of these screens, which is really good when comparing reports on each side. So dual screens, split screens, very helpful because you can have one report open on one side and then another report open in the other and just cross-reference the two. Helpful if you're also doing checks against Excel. Now, one of my favorite tips with Xero is actually to use multiple tabs. So I'm just going to go into my profit and loss and show you what I'm looking at and why. Now you may notice I've right clicked here and I'm opening it as a new tab. So I have my original dashboard and I have my P&L report. Now at this point in time, it doesn't add a massive amount of value, but it really adds value if I'm going to do, say, I don't know, I'm going to review one of my cost codes and I'm going to see what's going on. Let's choose one that's going to have more going on, probably sales consulting. So as a quick tip, what I would do is if I'm, say, reviewing a cost code, just imagine there's more items here because two isn't very imaginative. But if I wanted to review items in here and actually add 10, I could click in, I could go back. It gets painful, especially if my internet connection isn't particularly great. When reality of the situation is, sorry, I've just covered my back button or something. Reality of the situation is open the link in a new tab and I can see each individual item separately on different tabs without interfering with the integrity of this one. And most importantly, if I ever want to go back to the report, this is really handy if I'm going through recoding things or changing descriptions, because I have my list and the list doesn't move. Otherwise, if you go in, you refresh it, you go back, the risks are the list moves about, it's got to reload again. It just saves you time to open it in a new tab. And because Xero is all live, it doesn't ruin the integrity of anything that's going on. And it means I can edit items as I see fit, basically. So really handy little tip there, and actually you'd be amazed how much time that saves. Now another tip, if you're doing, basically if you've got more than one company within Xero itself, if you're going to look at one company and you want to look at another company because they're perhaps doing, say, intercompany transactions or something, then you can't just simply go, right, I want one company here and I'm going to open another company on this side, unless you open it in an incognito tab. So if I just add a tab, doesn't matter, because what will happen is Xero will recognize it's the same instance and it will always load the same company details you're looking at. However, if I actually go to, this is particular with Google Chrome, if I open an incognito tab, this will be represented by the black screen, the very intimidating looking binoculars and detective look. But this basically means if I open another instance of Xero here, I can open a different company to one that is open here. Whereas if I'd done it the other way, I couldn't do that. It would always refresh both to whichever company I've used last, which is a pain in the bum if you want to compare them. But at least this way, if I do it in an incognito, I do have to log in again, of course, and load up the company in question, but at least I can look at the two side by side. So another little tip actually is with repeating items. So you may have a few bills and you may have a few invoices which you find that you're making every single month. Now, if this is the case, you can save yourself a substantial amount of time, as you can see, opening in new tabs much quicker. Oh yeah, also another thing, if you ever get lost in Xero, always just reset to the dashboard. It's one of the best places to navigate from because it's familiar, people are used to it, it's one of the ones that you see the most. So always just reset to the dashboard if you get lost. But as mentioned, with bills and invoices, you can take advantage of the repeating functionality. Now, I could make a repeating invoice. Now to do this, you have to actually open sales and you have to go into the repeating section. Likewise with bills, you have to actually go into the repeating section. Otherwise, it would just say new bill and I'd have to select the drop down. So either works, but this is how you could set up a repeating bill. or repeating invoice. Why might you do that? Well, you might do it with bills if you have, say, a consistent subscription. That's a really handy one. And then all you need to do is literally download a copy of the invoice and just attach it to the bill that's already created. You might do it with a lease repayment, also very helpful. So items which are fixed, but they're going to happen each month. It saves you having to rush around, grab the bills. At least they're in the system, and you just need to grab the paperwork to support it. That is all. And likewise with repeating invoices, you can save yourself a lot of time if you do have, say, a membership site, just as an example, and actually have customers who are going to be repeat subscriptions until they, of course, cancel. You can, of course, set this up, or you might have someone who's got a yearly contract and actually you're going to set them up with 12 separate bills. So really, really helpful here, and recommend taking advantage of both of them. One thing I will say is if you're doing it, just make sure that your coding convention is as it should be. And if you do ever need to update your coding convention, make sure to update the repeating invoice as well. Otherwise, it will be with the old coding convention if you've simply edited existing invoices which have been created. So just remember that. So I've shared some of my little efficiency tips in Xero. There are many more. There are really, really useful ones, but some of them are there's so much to them that it kind of needs to be shown separately, such as like find and recode, which in my opinion is one of the best tools and best features of Xero. But items such as this we'll look at separately. But for now, I hope you found this useful. Please do take advantage of the efficiency tips we've shared today, just to help you speed up your navigation through Xero and to make it an enjoyable experience. And I hope to see you guys again very soon. If you did enjoy this video, please do let us know in the comments. And likewise, if you have any queries also, please do let us know. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.